Hi there, it's Connie-Rae. Welcome to ConnieRae'sCraftRoom.com. Today's craft share is this gorgeous thin box that you can probably put, you can put candles in, you can put soap in. But today in Woolworths I found some Christmas chocolate, and this is the Christmas edition. It's a 100-gram block, and guess what? It fits perfectly inside. So how is that? It actually holds two, but it might be a little bit on the heavy side for two. I'm not sure. If you make it out of cardboard, you should be fine to put two in there. But, you know, you can put money in there along with the chocolate as a great Christmas gift, or just as a present along with a gift card. So this is the box that we're going to be doing today. I have put a little hole in the top. You don't have to, but I have put it in there. You can hang it on a doorknob if you can get it on a doorknob, or you can just tie a ribbon in it and pop it, hand it to someone. It just seals up. I stick it down once I finished it. I think that's the best way to go with it. So I will show you how to make it. It is adorable. Okay, so firstly, you are going to need a piece of cardstock. Which is, let me get my instructions, is 11 inches by 8.5. And you'll also need 2 pieces of designer series paper. I use the Merry Music Specialty Designer Series paper for my panels. You need 2 panels that are 2 7/8 in width and 7 7/8 in length. You also need 2 panels for the side, which is these little ones here, and they are, you need 2 of them, and they're 7 7/8 in length, obviously, and 7 7/8 in width to go across. And then you can put peace on the bottom if you like. It's up to you entirely. You don't really have to. I didn't for this one, but you can if you want to. Just pop on a piece like that if you wanted to finish it off nicely. It's up to you. So that's for the bottom, and that's 1 inch by 2 7/8. So that's your cardstock and your designer series paper that you're going to need. You also need a piece of white cardstock. I have used the largest die in the stitched framelits in the circles, and that basically is just the largest die. So I've used that one. I've also used, to make that, I have used this stamp set, which is Inspiring Events. And I've used the arch design here on the bottom of the actual tag, the sentiment. It just looks really pretty. I love it. And I've also used the Confetti Celebrations, and I've used Let's Celebrate. So if you've got those 2 stamps, you can make this little tag as well to pop on the front of the box. But if you haven't, you can use whatever you've got. It doesn't really matter. So first things first, I might just do my stamping, and because I have got it set up. Now I did notice before when I did stamp, there's a little bit of what do you call it? A little bit of fine fibers on there. So before you stamp, just give it a bit of a brush with your embossing buddy, just to keep all the bits and pieces off it. Now I did find that this, if you've got a MISTI, this is the best, one of the best ways to do it. If you're good at lining up your stamps and realigning them, they are photopolymer, so you will be able to see through if you don't get it quite right in the first hit. But to be honest, I just thought that the MISTI was good for this particular one, but you know, you can use whatever you want, whatever works for you. And you never get it first go. I know I don't, unless you're a professional. So I'm just using Memento because this box is actually black and white. So I'm just going to pop it over. That's not too bad. Yeah. It'd be nice to put another colour, but I wasn't quite sure what colour to use. So not to worry, it doesn't matter. And then Let's Celebrate. I have just popped this down here and just squeeze it in nicely, if you're lucky. So I'll just take that one off and put that over there for cleaning for later. Let me just make sure I've got that lined up. Yep. Oh. Now you're supposed to take the black mat out when you've got red rubber stamps and leave the black mat in when you've got photopolymer. But I didn't want to lose my alignment, so it'll work. There we go. Done. So we've got our tag done. And I will bring that up closer. And I really love that arch. A little bit close to the edge. I prefer not to have it that close on the edge, but that's the actual decoration itself. And it looks really good, doesn't it? It's a really nice stamp set, that one. It's got lots of options. I love that arch set though, it's beautiful. All right, get that out of the way. So, pop that aside. So we'll bring in our cardstock. And we'll put our designer series paper aside, and I will get my scoreboard. So on the, let me get my instructions that I have written down somewhere. Okay, yes, sorry about that, guys. Okay, so on the 8.5 inch side, on the short side, portrait side, you are going to score at 1, 4, 5, and 8. And then you're going to turn it to your long side, landscape side, and you're going to score it at 1. Is that right? Yep, 1, 2, and 10. And that's all you need to do for scoring. So we will, oh, didn't get any scissors. Okay, pair of scissors. So for cutting purposes, haven't left much room for seeing, have I? I will show you how it looks. It's not hard to do. So you've got a thin side, which is going to be your glue flap, and then you've got, I'll cut it out and I'll show you. So you've got your first 2 little panels here, very small panels, and you're going to cut them right out up to that second line, because you're going to create the top of the box. Then you're going to go into the center panel, the small center panel, and you're going to cut that out as well. Need to cut that down a bit. It is a bit tricky to cut. There we go. And the same on the other side, the 2 smallest squares. So the top of the box has got the 2 lines at the top, and the bottom of the box has got 1 line at the bottom. And that's, if you keep that in mind, you'll know that which ones you're taking out. You're taking the 2 squares from here, the 2 squares from there, and you're creating the top of the box. And that's all that you're doing in the top of the box. And then on the bottom, we are just going to cut up so that you can create your bottom panels. And you're going to take, obviously, that little bit apart, away that little of your glue flap, which is the smallest flap. You're just going to take out that little notch, because that's the only part you want there is your glue flap. Just cut into that a bit. And the same on that side again. We'll fix that up in a second when we do some scoring. But first, I just wanted to, if you, for the surface, instead of putting your box together first, you're better off just putting the holes in first. Now, to put the holes in first, you can use a circle, you can use the ovals, you can use a punch, and you can put it in the first. Sorry, not making myself very clear here. There's one little section on each side. There's a line between the 2 flaps. Don't know if you can see it, but there is a line there. right there. There's a line. You've got the top bit and the bottom bit where my 2 fingers are. So in this bit up here, on both sides, we're going to be putting a hole if you choose to. You can put it around, just use a punch and use a round punch that you have. I used my oval. I'll just grab my oval punch. And it's a bit of an eyeball job. So you're going to be just eyeballing it, and you're just going to find your halfway mark, and as best as you can, and just punch it out. And it's the same with the other side. Just eyeballing it, making sure it's as close as possible to the other side. There we go. So when it joins up, you've got your little hole, basically. And you can put ribbon or whatever you want in that. It's entirely up to you. So now we're going to do some burnishing. Should we do burnishing? I might actually leave it because I want to put my panels on first. I think the best way to put the panels on is to do it when it's flat. It just makes it easier. And I think I'll use Tombow because I'm recording, and Murphy's Law, whenever I record, something goes wrong. So instead of me struggling to get the panels correct, I'm just going to use a little bit of Tombow all around the areas required. No, it looks like I'm using a lot here, but I'm not. I'm just using it to spread. So if I don't get my panels right, I can always correct them per se. So you're just going to be putting your panels into the longest box that you've got there on both of the sides and just lining it up so it looks even. It's the same with this other side. Very easy box to make. And you know, I've never been able to find chocolates that really fit without pulling the packet apart and putting chocolates in there. So I was pretty happy when I found this little chocolate for Christmas, because I thought this year, you know, it's always giving teenagers money and stuff like that because they've always got everything and you just don't know what to give them. So I thought, well, you know, I can do that and stick some chocolates in with some money. Make them think that they've got a big tie or something. You can put a tie on there, in there. And the middle panels, sorry, the end panels, has got one there and one there. So we're just going to put some glue. You can use your Tombow, you can use your fast fuse, your normal sticky strip, whatever you like. Whatever works for you, basically. Again, I like to use Tombow just to make sure I've got it all lined up, on camera at least. It's a lovely black and white box. I do love it. Black being my favourite colour. There's no doubt about that. And the last one in here, lining it up perfectly with all your other ones. And Tombow does give you that time to get it all lined up. If you haven't quite got it straight, you can sort of like maneuver it around a bit and bring it into alignment. That's always the beauty of using Tombow, I've got to say. And we'll put that bit on the bottom last, I think. So now that we've got our panels on, our box is coming together nicely. So what I'll do is I will burnish my lines, burnishing my lines, my score lines. Isn't that what they say? Burnishing my score lines. And so this is your glue flap here, this tiny little thing here. So on here, I will use fast fuse. You can use whatever you like, whatever works for you, basically. And really, you're just folding that over and folding it down on top of it, just like that. So now for the bottom, you would just fold these bits in. And again, I think I'll just use some Tombow on here. holding that down, that bit. Depends which way you want the flap to go. Oh, I didn't burnish my lines. That's all right. It'll stick. Just give it a bit of encouragement. Oh, your scoring tool goes down into the bottom of it. It's that long. Okay, so you've almost completed a gorgeous little box. So on the bottom here, as I suggested, you can put, if you want, the little 1-inch decorative part. So yeah, might as well. While you're at it, it's only another inch, and it does make it look a little bit more professional. I didn't on my original draft, but sometimes we make so many drafts as demonstrators that we end up going through all of our products before we actually get it onto the film. So I try not to do that, but sometimes it just happens. So again, we're just lining that up with a bit of Tombow. Yep. I'll just take that down. Sorry guys, it's just a little bit of a big box to actually hold into camera. There we go. So there we go. It does look professional, doesn't it? Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we are going to do some embellishments for our little decorative component. Up here I have just used one of our little, what do we call them? Our little bows. These gorgeous, cute little bows. They're so tiny and cute. So I'm just popping that on the top of the box, just on the second panel, and I'm just going to pop that about there. There we go. We have got the Celebrations catalogue coming out. Well, the PDF version is coming out soon. Actually, it's coming out on Tuesday. So demonstrators, we get to see all the celebration items and all the occasion items. And remember, with the celebration items, have I got that right? Yes, the occasions items you purchase, and with the celebration, normally there is lots of freebies to grab. So don't forget, lots of freebies, and the freebies are fantastic. They're free stamp sets, papers, ribbons, just everything that we normally carry. And every year they do the same thing. They give us the celebration and the occasions catalogue together, and we celebrate and we have free stamps and we go crazy, basically. And like any occasions that, the pun intended, any occasion that we have with Stampin' Up, it's always consistently good. You can't complain about that. Okay, so that's going to be, I've just put some diamantes on there as well, and I'm going to put some dimensionals on there, which I have failed to bring over. And you might want to pop it up fairly high if you can. And there we go. Ta-da! Okay, and like I said before, you can, after you've put your chocolate in, and mind you, I'm not putting my chocolate in there, but once you put the chocolate in, as I said, these are at Woolies. They were $2. Woolies? Woolworths. Sorry, I abbreviate things and people probably don't know what I'm talking about. So basically, once you've got your chocolate in, you can do one of two things. You can leave it open if you want, if you can leave it open if you want, or with my original one, I just took some Tombow and I just glued this together. And once you've got your item in there, it's glued together, it's shut, so it's perfect. So there you go, that's it. So thank you very much for joining me. That brings me to the end of this tutorial, and I will be back with another tutorial as soon as I come up with one. Sometimes my creativeness leaves me. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it's good and it hangs around for a bit. Sometimes it just vanishes. So that's it for me for now. So take care until I see you next time. And don't forget, any of the products that you see here are going to be available on links provided at the bottom where it says show more. You just click that and there'll be links there for you to click and go in, and you can purchase directly the products that I've used today. And for my blog, which is connie-raescraftroom.com, you can go through the menu bar there, or I will update my blog shortly with the tutorial on how to actually recreate this, and I'll also keep this how to recreate this in the instructions below on YouTube. So oh, and up in the top header, if you click on Connie-Rae's Craft Room, it'll take you straight to my blog. So either way, you can't go wrong, and you can just go in and purchase these items, and that's it. It's all you have to do. That's like normal online shopping. So thanks for joining me. Please do like, share, and subscribe. That helps me keep creating and funding and creating. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for joining me, and bye for now.